What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And we're not even going to bullshit you about this week's Liquid Kernedge. Jason, as you're listening to this, is on vacation in South Carolina. And I am at work in Arizona. So we recorded this last week.
But it still holds effect even though it's a week early.
Yes. So I could lie to you and tell you that it hurt to run the Tillman this past weekend. But it was fun to go to Larry Fitzgerald Softball Classic, and you can tell me all about South Carolina, but there's no point in lying to everybody because that stuff hasn't actually happened yet.
And like I said, our show is we want to be current for our listeners. We want to make sure that they're hearing the best and brightest of us. And so they get the current, and then there'll be 2 weeks, and then they'll get to hear the new stuff 2 weeks from now.
Exactly. We want to be fair and balanced, as one of the fake media news sources likes to promote themselves as.
That's right.
Only this time we really do want to be fair and balanced. Oh, man.
So how you doing, my friend? How you doing?
It has been one interesting week. I can be honest with you. It's springtime, so everything's in bloom here. I have gotten a kennel log shot to help with my allergies, on top of the Flonase and every other allergy pill I take. But with the weather we've had, I've got this. I've had a nasty sinus headache for the last 2 days.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awful.
And if you ever had a sinus headache, it's like you can't put your head down without feeling some kind of pressure.
I've had it many times, actually. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And if you sneeze, you basically want your head to explode because it would feel better.
Oh God, dude, I didn't want to hear it then. Yeah, I think sinuses have been hit or miss this year. Like I haven't had as bad as I would have expected. Last year it was really bad. Like it was to the point where every day I felt like I had a cold.
Yeah,
like congestion. It was awful.
Well, that's how I felt until I got this kennel log shot, and I felt 1,000% better since then. So I'm gonna chalk that up to that's what did it for me. But man, I tell you what, it seems like the older I get, the worse my allergies get.
Like getting old, man. We talk about it every week. Don't like getting old, my friend. Do not like getting old.
I know. I do not want that to be a theme of our show, because talking about getting old will get old. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's very true.
So I want our listeners to tell us about their allergies and maybe their allergy reliefs. Do they take pills? Do they have some kind of home remedy that you don't know about? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Or if you want to sneeze in our EP Tom's general direction, hit him up on Twitter and Instagram, all at liquid_EP.
I've never taken a kennel log shot, but maybe I'll try that sometime.
It was right in the butt, man. I mean, there was like
Ooh.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was not expecting that. And what's worse is, like, the day before in the gym, we had a bunch of sit-ups, and if you do your sit-ups, like if you sit on the pad wrong, you get a raspberry on your ass. So it's like right there at the crack. And
ooh,
oh yeah. So this nurse I had to drop trout a little bit to pull down. I didn't even think about it, but there's a big old raspberry sitting there right next to where she gave me that shot, man. So it was double the pain.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, bro. So sorry.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, my friend. It is what it is. I love that statement. It's a statement that that makes us think about it all the time. The time, how it is what it is, baby.
You just have to be able to shift gears and go in whatever general direction you need to.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So what's going on down in Phoenix? Tell me about what you guys got going on.
So we talked a little bit about it when this happened, but we went out to a restaurant here in the Scottsdale area called Mastro's Ocean Club. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's a pretty expensive, high-priced restaurant.
Yeah.
And we decided we went to go see Wicked with Taylor and Sam, mm-hmm. and we decided, hey, you know what? After Wicked, why don't we do a really nice dinner? We'll just gussy it up.
So Subway was out of the question.
Yeah. So Taco Bell, Subway, all of those were out of the question. So we went to this restaurant, and there must be something about Scottsdale restaurants where they say, oh, well, you're in Scottsdale and this is an Ocean Club or Steakhouse, then it's going to be, $70, $80 for an entree.
Yeah.
But okay, we said, it's a one-time thing. Let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
I ordered a sirloin because I hadn't had steak in a while. We've been doing Weight Watchers, and they kind of frown upon lots of steak because it's, all the fats and stuff. But we paid $68 for this 10-ounce steak.
Wow.
Now, I got to tell you, I mean, I've had steak before. I've had steak where I spent $8 for a steak.
Uh-huh.
I didn't taste the $52 price difference.
Oh, so did you pay $52 for the ambiance?
Yeah. So that's my question: is that when is it worth paying the extra $52 for a steak?
You know, that's good. That's a good question. Do you want to pay for quality, or are you paying for the ambiance? Like, what is the difference in the steak cuts? Was it maybe Kobe beef or Wagyu? Was that why you're paying such a high price, or is it just?
You know, it's an interesting question. They actually had that fancy steak from Japan. You know, the one where it's
Kobe.
like really, yeah, Kobe, and it was $120 for a 6-ounce portion.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I will say the ambiance was really nice. I mean, and I don't know, when you're in a restaurant like that, you do sit up a little taller.
But you have to.
And you do kind of wear a little bit nicer clothes. And when you look around to some of the other patrons, you're definitely looking at I don't want to say a higher quality person, but they're definitely dressed a little nicer. And they look a little nicer, and they drive to the restaurant a little bit nicer car. So I guess that the ambiance was there. I don't know if it was worth, $60 versus $10, but it was okay. But there's a lot of things like that where we're willing to spend a little bit more money, and I always wondered, why are we willing to spend more money for the same thing?
Well, I guess it's quality. It's quality versus quantity. It's knowledge of the product. So when you buy, we'll say, a new vacuum, just for posterity's sake. When you go buy a vacuum, you just go to Walmart or Target and just buy one and call it good, or do you research to see like what actually has some the good ratings and what actually does the job better than others?
Yeah, that's a good question. So me, when I go to I usually will go to Walmart, but what I do is I stick a price in my head of, okay, I think that a nice vacuum should cost this dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I do is I try to find the one that's as close to that dollar amount as I can.
No, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. That totally does. Yours makes much more sense. Research it, find out the differences, the nuances, the fixtures, or the things that the thing can do, and, find the best product.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm in a very similar boat. I guess I'm always looking at vacuums and like carpet cleaners, because I've got those 3 dogs and they shed and do other things and I'm not paying attention. So you have to constantly clean the carpet. But the other day I looked down and realized my Apple Watch after 2.5 years is dying. It's not holding a charge anymore. And as most people know, Apple products are not cheap.
No.
But you do tend to get your money's worth out of them if you take care of them. And I've used this watch every day since Christmas of 2017.
Okay.
Or maybe 16. 2016. So yeah, we're at well almost
2.5 years. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
So 2.5 years, and I realized I have to invest in one. So I've been looking around, like, do I want to stay with Apple? Do I want to go to a Fitbit? What are my other options? And I have a hard time paying. It's $430 some odd for an Apple Watch.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Because, watches, you can get watches that do just about everything for a whole lot cheaper. But, at that point, you're paying for the name. And I want to say you're paying for a little bit of the status because people know what it is.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Is it worth it? Is it not? And that's what I've been struggling with,
So this is exactly what I was talking about is, if I tell someone, hey, I went to the Masters Ocean Club,
mm-hmm.
do people go, oh, you went to Masters Ocean Club? Whoa, that's quality. Most people would say, oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't even recognize, but you're right with like Apple.
Yeah.
When you buy an Apple Watch versus you buy, I don't know, a Google Watch or something else, is there a distinction that makes it worth the extra $200 to have that?
And that's exactly it. So I had to start researching, what does the Fitbit watch have versus what the new Apple Watches have. And, my blood pressure has been a little bit higher lately. So they've been adjusting my blood pressure medication. And the more I read about this Apple Watch, the 4s, They do EKGs on there now for you, and they do a lot more. They're a lot more geared toward keeping you knowledgeable about your current health status. So, being in my late 30s, knowing my family history, I have to start weighing: is it worth investing in that? Because I'm aware of what my family history is, and it's a good idea to keep a baseline idea and track what something like my heart rate is, my heartbeat is, knowing that I've got high blood pressure, and it could get worse as I get older. Versus a Fitbit, which counts my steps and talks trash to me if I'm not walking fast enough.
Yeah, the real question becomes, if the price differential is $250, is the $250 for you worth having the bells and whistles of the Apple Watch that the Fitbit may not have?
Exactly. And the more I dive into it, I realize that it's probably better for me to have those bells and whistles, because those are becoming what I need, just for my general knowledge of my general health.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah. I was thinking about things that in my life that I value enough that I would pay the extra money for. Like, and I'll ask you, while I'm kind of revealing some of those things, I'll ask you to kind of think of something that for you, you'll always go to the higher value item versus the lower value. I found that and it's stupid, but for some reason with like flat screen TVs, I always stay away from the ones that I don't recognize the brand name.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've ever shopped for those TVs, but they'll have a deal like, oh man, get a 55-inch TV for $230. And you look at it and, part of it is in Russian. You don't even recognize the company, versus going with like a Sony or going with an Apple TV. I find that I'm willing to pay the extra for that recognition of the company.
Yeah, when it comes to something like TVs, first off, Apple TV is not an actual TV. It's like a Fire Stick or a Roku.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not a TV.
It's not a TV. But I hear what you're saying. You want to look for that product, but something like TVs anymore, like 10 years ago, a product like Vizio would have been, one of those unnamed brands. And over these last 10 years, because of their quality and their price points, they've become a major player in the television market. And now most people have Vizios because you can get them fairly inexpensively and they last quite a while. I did buy one of those non-name brand TVs a few months ago for my bedroom, an HTC, and I've been more than happy with it. Like, it's blown my mind. So you can find some good deals but again, if you do your research on it.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about too is that, a lot of it is, did you ever hear that story about they were selling designer shoes in like a boutique in New York, and they called it Palessi or something like that. And these people were spending like $800 for these pairs of shoes. And then the owner of the boutique said they actually worked for Payless, and they were doing a demonstration that their shoes were just as good as any of the high brand $800 pair of shoes. And two things came to my mind. Who is weird enough to spend $800 on a pair of shoes?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
And second, it's all about that name recognition. If you said, hey, I just got a brand new pair of Payless, there's instantly an image that, oh my gosh, you just cheaped out on some shoes. What'd you get? A free dog treat for your dog? What do you got going? But by putting it as Palessi or something like that, where it's like a brand name gourmet thing, it instantly raises the value of something from someone selling it.
That's it. Your product is only worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't realize. If you keep going cheap and buying the cheap stuff, that stuff will always be there, but you're always going to replace it. And for me, the older I get, it's better to buy the quality products as I buy, like my phones. My assistant constantly buys the like the burner phones, if you will, the Go phones with the contract you pay $50 a month.
Yeah,
and it's cheap Samsungs. And yeah, I get it. He's got 2 kids, so it's a cost saving matter.
Sure.
But when you're investing in a new phone every year or so, just because it's outdated, because those phones are already a year or 2 years old by the time they get to what he's using it for, is that just as effective as buying a newer Samsung or Apple phone that's going to last you for 3 years at a similar price?
Yeah. I think that I mean, I remember there was a time in my life when I was, going through some financial issues. So I went down to the food stamp office to help kind of get me through kind of a rough time financially. And I'm sitting down there with people who are applying for food stamps, and they have these, brand new Apple phones. And I'm like, wow, you have no money for food, but you've got money to buy this Apple phone,
Oh yeah.
Because all about the name brand, dude. At least, hey, I'm poor, but I at least have an Apple phone.
Well, yeah. Well, when you left the government, when you're sucking off the government's teat like that, they don't have to buy groceries. They can buy stuff like the Apple phones.
So, Scott, what's one thing that you will not skimp or cheap out on?
Oh, I would say my phone.
Your phone. So, yeah,
I will fully admit I am an Apple whore. I tried the Galaxy a few years back, and I happily went back to the iPhones. I like the brand. I like the quality, and I know what I'm getting with it. So I'm more than happy to do that. Aside from that, I would say my kitchen products. If I can get a KitchenAid in anything, I do.
Oh, okay. So you go a little bit higher cost to get the nicer thing.
Well, it's going to work, and it's going to work the way you want it to, and they say it's going to.
Now, I don't know if all of our listeners know this about you, Scott, but one thing that I've always felt like you definitely are willing to spend the more money to have is every 2 to 3 years, you have a brand new truck. Whether you need one or not, you have a brand new truck.
That is true.
So to me, it's like for you, that's a priority that even though you have a 3-year-old truck, which is basically newer than any vehicle I've ever had, for you, that's a priority. That's something that is important to you, that you're willing to spend the money to get the brand new truck.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
And in my mind, though, I equate that to, well, I have that truck payment anyway, so I might as well have what I want if I'm going to have that payment. And I recognize if I pay it off, then I won't have that payment. But
yeah,
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What about you? Like, what do you invest in?
I do find when I travel, I don't mind spending money when I'm traveling. I'll give you an example. We went on a cruise when we went up to Alaska, and some of the excursions were like $200 for one person to go on an excursion. But for me, that was an experience that was worth it to me to spend the $200 to do that excursion.
Yeah.
So for me, anything with travel, like I don't mind staying at a nice $300 a night hotel. I personally don't mind it. Some people, that's way too much money. They would never spend that much money in a million years on a restaurant. For me, on a hotel. For me, anything with travel, I'm willing to spend and do the nicer qualities of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, TVs, electronics, routers. I don't buy the cheapest version. If I'm going to do it, I want to get the nicest version I can that's within my budget, of course. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't spend $50,000 for a TV, but I definitely am okay with spending more money than it may be I can get at something else to make sure that I get a product that I feel has higher quality, higher value.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and everyone has different priorities when it comes to things like that. It's we have friends that would rather invest in season tickets for sports versus trips like you take. It's how you prioritize it and how you want to spend your money like that.
So now on the flip side, what's one thing that you would never spend full price on?
I would never spend full price.
Or not even like you. I mean, like for example, I will never spend $60 on a steak.
Yeah,
I will never, you know what I mean. Like that's what I'm talking about.
I would say probably something like that. I'm pretty low maintenance when it comes to things like that. For as much as I love food and I love cooking, and I can appreciate some of the experiences, like when you get to like the higher end restaurants, like the tiny portions for 3 times the price, I'm not gonna fucking do that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm not doing that. Like, come on, man. Like if I have to go for a work thing, that's one thing. But if I'm going to go pay for myself, I'm gonna get something that for me, I want to enjoy eating. But I can't think of anything I'd really like cheap out on. Maybe I don't know, like generic meds like ibuprofen and Tums or things like that. If you just get the generic brands,
right? That's a good one. That is so true. Like you go to like Great Value ibuprofen versus like ibuprofen from Bayer or something like that.
Well, it's like $6
Yeah.
versus $3. I'm not paying $3 more for a name brand.
That's true. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And one of my allergy pills is a Claritin, and it's I could buy a 10-pack for $2.50 of the Walmart version, or a 10-pack for like $15 for the actual Claritin version. And I'm not going to pay the other, $13 just for a name brand when the other one legally has to be the same. It's just common sense.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm with you. And I don't cheap out on the dog food either, man. I have to take care of my boys, so.
Oh, so they get the good stuff?
They get good stuff. They don't get the Olroy whatever. That's bad for them. So.
Yeah.
But yet they still eat the weeds and plants and whatever else. So it's
it's all relative.
It's all relative.
Well, I can tell you what, I am not a name brand clothing person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I want high quality clothes, but I would never like spend, $4,000 for a suit when I can get a suit for $150.
Yeah, and I guess
you know what I mean. Like clothing to me is not worth the extra money to buy the name brand versus just buying, jeans.
And I guess I can disagree with you there to a certain extent because.
Oh, our first disagreement. Wow.
There are certain types of clothes that like you just know, like the way they frame it on you, the way it sits and feels, and the sizing, it just works better. So there are certain brands that like I know I prefer when it comes to pants or shirts, but I don't cheap out on my workout clothes or my gear. Like
really,
I usually use Nike products or Rogue products for the gym.
One of the things I've seen from a lot of women, especially, is they don't mess around with shoes, man. Yeah. They make sure if they're going to, they may not have anything else nice, but them shoes are going to be like pristine, nice shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's funny. I've got a pair of black work shoes that I wear at work, some brown shoes I occasionally wear to work, but my gym shoes, I think I've got 5 different pairs of gym shoes that I could wear at any given time. But
that's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's because I like the brand. I like the way they feel, and like the support they give me. And it's one of those luxury items that it's better than buying the cheap pair of sneakers from Walmart.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in other podcasts, but everyone has a different value system that they use for anything in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of us have things. I'm sure there are things that I would buy where you go, dude, why would you do that? And vice versa.
Oh, we've argued about that for years, stuff like that for years.
Yeah. But no, I think that would be a tough choice on the Apple Watch, because I agree with you. Spending $400 for a watch, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that is a lot of money, especially when you can get something that's almost as good for $150.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's what it comes down to. But I'll be honest, the fact that I got 2.5 years out of this watch is amazing. I do like everything it has to offer, and the new redesign with the new options is a nice. There's nothing I don't like about it. Is the bottom line. It's just that it's pricey, but you know what you're getting.
How far of a plane ride would you have to go on to pay the extra money for first class?
Oh, I'd have to go intercontinental. I'd have to go to like Europe or Asia. I'll tell you. I've flown in coach or business class across the country.
Yeah,
and it doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like you. While I would love to have the stretch out and the nice big chairs, when I look at the price tag to do that, I don't know how anyone justifies paying first class.
Oh yeah.
Well, like it seems like almost the biggest waste to me of anything you could possibly do.
Yeah. Also, just an editorial note is I also primarily fly Southwest when I fly, so there's no first class. It's usually
you're first on.
Usually, it's do you want to pay $15 to be in boarding group A to get your prime seat? In which case for me is all the way in the back on a row. So it's what the preference is. We flew back from New York a couple years ago from a conference, and we flew back on JetBlue. Now that is an airline I would spend some money on if I was going to go overseas, because they did everything right, they did everything nice, and it was very well done.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also what you've been exposed to in life.
So what do you think our executive producer is going to spare no expense when he buys?
Oh, I can tell you right now, he spares no expense when he buys his truck, his computer equipment, and his camper.
That when he buy whatever he's going to get the nicest stuff.
Oh yeah, I guarantee when I'm down there this weekend, when JP and I go stay at his house because you guys are on vacation, we'll go down there and stay. And you're right, that was a dig.
That was a little bit.
It was a little bit of a shot. I guarantee the same salsa and tomato sauce that was in there last time, which was right after Memorial Day last summer, will still be in his refrigerator. There'll be granola bars and pasta and tortillas, and that's it. He does not spend money on food. He spends money on his computers, on his games, on his truck, and on his toy hauler.
And yet, if you get, and maybe that's the whole culmination of this, is if you're getting enjoyment out of whatever you spend your money on, then all the more power to you. I think the thing that makes me the saddest is when people spend money on things that they don't enjoy, that don't bring them pleasure, and they're instantly like, you feel like it's a waste of money.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree. It's you have to you do not get to take this money with you when you die, so you have to spend it, accordingly. And it's a running joke in our family that if my mom dies first, Tom and I are millionaires because my dad does not spend a lot of money, but what he buys quality. If my mom or if my dad dies first, my brother are going to pay off millions because. While my mom does buy quality, she buys quantity and quality. So it's across the board for her. But you can't take it with you. So that's why you end up with a new truck every couple of years, is because you might as well enjoy yourself while you're here, because you never know when it's going to end.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. For me, I'll drive my little truck until literally the tires fall off. I mean, I do not care. But we're going to Hilton Head, and if I want to do an excursion, or if I want to go on a boat trip and see the ocean or do something, I'm going to do it because I enjoy those things. Those things make me happy. So spend the money that makes you happy.
That is the bottom line. So
That's right.
What do you want to spend money on that makes you happy? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Or if you want a chance to win an all expenses paid weekend with Tom, or EP, in his trailer somewhere out in the Arizona desert camping, hit him up on Twitter and Instagram, all at Liquid_EP.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty good endorsement, buddy. I love it.
Yeah, he's gonna love that we're having this contest, and really,
he's gonna see hundreds of Liquid Kernedge listeners in like one of those. If you build it, he will come, or that in that movie, Field
of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, when all the cars are with the lights on are coming up the driveway to see the field.
Oh yeah.
That's what's going to happen. There's going to be hundreds of Liquid Kernedge listeners driving to Phoenix area to see the EP.
Oh, I agree. We joke about having 4 listeners, but with our luck, we put this contest out there. Just joking, and we'll have 4,000 contested entries. So.
I know, because we always get ridiculed. Oh, you only have 3 listeners. They only, and then, okay, everyone, let's go head down to EP's house, and we'll just party in his trailer. And there'd be just a stream of cars.
That's basically
honking and having fun, and
you give the people what they want.
That's right. All
right, buddy. Why don't you take us out of this thing?
All right. Well, we'll look forward to a current episode of Liquid Kernedge next time we record in a couple weeks. But thanks for listening. We really appreciate you. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.